Hey guys, it's Mitch from Grandad Gunner TV. The morning after. The morning after the Arsenal nightmare begins. Where do I start and what do I mean? Let's start with the match overview. I think that's probably our starting point to move forward. Now, I said yesterday in our preview that possession was key to dominating the midfield. And I said that would dictate whether Tottenham were going to be creative, if they were going to come at us full guns blazing, and the outcome, we would rip them to shreds. But this all related to having possession in the game. Now, at half-time, Arsenal was 40% and Tottenham was 60% possession. Now, I understand our focus was on hard pressing Tottenham, and I get that because we want to try and catch Tottenham out, and I get that. And that, in turn, allows us to dominate possession. But the reality is that's not smart football when an attacking team is trying to attack you. You have to earn the right to create the chances, which in turn, you do that by dominating the midfield. I said yesterday the 4 players to watch, and I'll refresh, was Udogie, Bissouma, Maddison, and Son. And I'll go back to what I said. Udogie shut down Saka. Bissouma was very solid in the midfield. Maddison owned Odegaard. And Son was clinical and ruthless. He showed his striking brilliance, which is what I said yesterday. For Tottenham to even compete with us at home, you had to win the midfield. And the way you did that is Maddison had to dominate Odegaard. If Maddison is stifled and not creating chances for his forward options, then Bissouma doesn't come into the game, neither does Son. It's as simple as that. But to his credit, Maddison dominated Odegaard. It's just the reality. And Saliba, for his high standards, his normal high standards, he was uncharacteristic in making a few different errors. And that's not like Saliba at all. So for me, that played a part. Now we talk about the 27th minute. Saka is given a stupid amount of space and time, and he creates the goal. And the goal is by Romero. It's an own goal. And this is the first time any player in the whole match is given any type of space and time. So he's afforded the space and time. And so it's clear to me in the 27th minute that Tottenham are actually getting tired of playing Ange ball. And to be honest, even though Tottenham dominated possession, 27 minutes in, you could see they were getting tired. So 27th minute, it's 1-0 to the Arsenal. 28th minute, Vieira gets a knock. Now, that's no big deal, right? See, I look at football very differently. I look at players who get tackled. I look at players who take knocks, and I make mental notes of how did that player come out of that tackle. So for me, it was a big deal because I could see that he actually got hurt. 31st minute, Maddison nearly gifts Jesus a goal, but he fires it over the goal and turns out to be a very pivotal moment because we would have gone up 2-0. Arsenal would have been 2 and Tottenham would have been none. 32nd minute, Vieira goes down again. Again, I bring that back to the 28th minute. I watched Vieira. He was not comfortable when he came off that tackle. And in the 32nd minute, he went down again. And I watched these things. 36th minute, Odegaard has a scuffed attempt at goal. Now, the reason he has a scuffed attempt at goal is because it's a rash shot. It's a rarity because Maddison is owning Odegaard. When Odegaard is owning his opposite number, he makes more room for himself and his shots are lethal. Now, in this 37 minutes and 23 seconds into the match, Raya shows his class. It is as simple as that. The incredible reaction save that he pulls off when he runs across the entire goal face off his weaker foot and pulls out a full body reaction save is exactly why Raya is our number one and Ramsdale is on the bench. 41st minute, Raya, another double save. His awareness to save twice in a short period of time, mere seconds, is nothing but world class. And again, it highlights the fact that Arteta made the right decision and he was ruthless for the right reasons. Now, this is where it gets concerning for me. The 41st minute and 23 seconds shows the first sign of Rice having a calf injury. Son is able to get in front of Rice and he is clinical with his finish. And if you watched the game last night, trust me when I say Rice is too slow to move forward and Son gets in behind him and gets ahead of him and he finishes clinically. Fantastic goal, fantastic assist by Maddison. The reality is that is the first time where you see Rice showing any sign of any type of injury. So, Arsenal won, Tottenham won. So we move on to the 48th minute. Now, in the 48th minute, if you guys watched the game, there is actually a shot of Rice, his whole body, and his face. And in the 48th minute, Rice looks like he is in a lot of pain. So halftime pops up, and it's 1 to the Arsenal and 1 to Spurs. Second half. So the second half, we look at some simple stats. So firstly, 7 shots Arsenal, 3 on target. Spurs, exactly the same. I've said it time and time again, Ange Ball works. He only knows one way, and that is to attack. So it's exactly the same stats for halftime. We had 163 passes and only 134 were completed. Spurs had 258 passes and 229 were completed. So what does that tell us? Now, stats can be overreaching, let's say, because a goalkeeper can pass 76 times to his defenders, and I get it. But the reality is, if you've got that many completed passes, you're actually owning the midfield. Let's be real. Now, subs, come on, straight on halftime. Now, there's only 2 reasons that you make subs at halftime. One, your team is playing absolutely crap and you want to inject a lot of energy into your team. Or 2, you have injuries that you need to protect your players from. And when I saw Kai Havertz coming out at halftime and I saw Vieira being removed, remember, he had that knock in the 28th minute and he had another knock in the 32nd minute and he didn't look the same after that. I look at these things and they mean something in the big scheme of things. So Vieira got replaced by Havertz. Jorginho replaced Rice. And that was no surprise to me. I was saying to my son, I think Declan's got something going on. We'll see what happens in the second half. He showed symptoms of some type of injury in the 41st minute. And when they got that shot on Rice, when they showed his face in the 48th minute, he looked like he was in pain. So I knew it was going to be fun and games for the second half. Let's get real. So the 49th minute, our 12th man, Romero, he handballs in the box from a Ben White specky. Would have definitely gone in. It was an absolute gift. He gives us a penalty. Sucker drives it straight down the hey diddle diddle, straight down the middle, and Arsenal 2, Tottenham 1. And that's fantastic. The thing I'm concerned about, just as one of the little key factors in this, it took from the 49th minute to the 53rd minute for the ref to actually give us what was the most obvious penalty in the history of football. I just want to bring it to your attention, yet again, Arsenal fans, how biased the refs are against the Arsenal. Let's be real. Any other team, that would have been an instant penalty. They wouldn't have to check a thing. That was absolutely, no doubt, penalty. End of story. So that's how biased our Manchester United referees are. 54th minute, 43rd second. The most experienced player on the field, Jorginho is absolutely taught a lesson by a younger, hungrier Maddison for Tottenham. Maddison puts the pressure on him and he schools Jorginho. This is yet another example, and I've said it over again, this is another example of why we need two more high-quality midfielders. We need another CDM and we need another central midfielder. I've said it before, to truly challenge, we need a right wing for Saka, we need an upgrade on Jorginho and the ever-injured Thomas Partey, and we need an absolute clinical number 9. And I think Tony is that man for us in the next window. But I've said it time and time and time and time again, and I'll say it until it happens. Jorginho is great to bring on when you've controlled a game. There's no pressure on the man, and he's a solid CDM. He is not the man to control the game when you aren't controlling the game, if you know what I mean. He's not your man. Declan Rice, King Deck, he's our midfield general. So at the very least, we need a right wing. So we got competition or for Saka. That goes without saying. That kid, if he gets injured, we're in a lot of trouble, which I'll talk about in a minute. We need a genuine target man. Eddie is not that man. Jesus is definitely has the skills and the ability to be that man. But again, having someone with more, I suppose, holding up ability, I think Tony's that man. Plus, who's in goal now? That's right, David Raya. So you create the reunion with Tony and Raya, and we're back to what Brentford's best was. Raya used to find Tony many, many times, and every single time they played. Let's get real. So at the very least, that's what we need. Now, from the 56th minute, from then on, we were in third gear. And I mean that. We were absolutely in third gear. In fact, it looked very pedestrian at times. The one thing in our favour, which I really enjoyed watching the game last night, was our fans are world class. I want to pay homage to the fans of the Emirates Stadium last night. I did not stop. I did not hear those fans stop chanting and singing the entire game. Even when we were in the mud and we were being dominated by Spurs, they just kept chanting. They kept singing. They kept believing. And that, as Arsenal fans, is what you expect. It really is what you expect. So, 77th minute, Nelson comes on for Jesus. Now, I don't think Jesus had much, I suppose, influence in the game. I really don't, because, yes, he can play on the wide areas. We know that. We absolutely know that. But he is our main man through the middle. So, I personally would have had ESR, and I would have had Gabby, and I would have brought an Eddie on if needed. But that's beside the point. I'm not the manager. I'm not Super Mick Arteta. And in the 96th minute, ESR finally comes on for Saka. Now, the thing I noticed, and here we go with looking at all my players whenever I watch a game of Arsenal, Saka went off with a small limping movement. And I don't care what anyone says, man. If Saka gets injured, we are in trouble. We are in trouble. I'm talking about the nightmare to come. And I mean the nightmare to come. So let's go through this. Possible, probable calf injury to Declan Rice. What's the cover? Jorginho, El Neni. Not good enough, Arsenal. Not good enough. Vieira, possible, probable injury. Options, ESR, Kai Havertz. Okay, that's not bad. Saka, possible, probable injury. Now, that kid gets bumped around left, right, and centre. So I just think, like all professional footballers, you're playing with some type of injury. So I get that. I do get that. So the chances are Saka's going to come back. No dramas at all. He'll put some ice on there and he'll bump some bruises. He'll be back because he's our main man. But let's just say hypothetically, Arsenal fans, if Saka does not come back, it's Reece Nelson. And I'm sorry, but you lose so much when you replace Saka with Reece Nelson. Not, do I think he's a fantastic player? No. I think he's an average Joe Blow player, and I don't think he should have got another contract. But he's an academy player. He's came out of the academy, and loyalty is a big part of the characteristics of Arsenal Football Club. So I get it, and I understand why they gave him a new contract. I personally would have liked an upgrade on him because we only get better when we have better quality players. So that goes without saying. Now, the thing that concerns me is our next 5 games. I personally think our next 5 games are going to go a long way to deciding how our season goes on all fronts. Now, that might sound dramatic, but the reality is, as it stands right now, we're not having a bad season. We drew at home to Spurs. Does it feel like a loss? Oh, hell yeah. It hurts. It really, really hurts. But we drew. We didn't lose. Now, currently, we're supposed to be chasing this team called Man City. And the reality is they are light years ahead of us. And the reason why they're light years ahead of us is because normally Man City take their time in their season to just get up to speed. They've hit the ground running. And who's hit the ground running with them? That big behemoth, that Norwegian freak, Erling Haaland. He has hit the ground running. So our next 5 games are absolutely critical. Listen to this. Wednesday, the 27th of September, it's the Carabao Cup, and we are playing Brentford away. Okay? Brentford away. Write it down if you have to. Carabao Cup, Brentford away. 3 days later, on Saturday, the 30th of September, we are playing Bournemouth away. Again, we're playing Bournemouth away. Tuesday, the 3rd of October, in the Champions League, we are playing RC Lens. And guess what? That's right. You guessed it. We are away again. Sunday, the 8th of October, only 5 days later, we are playing that team that's chasing 4 years in a row, Man City, and we play them at home, thank God. And then Saturday, the 21st of October, we play that other mob in London, Chelsea, and we play them away. I am not worried about Chelsea one iota. That club is not in the mud. They're not even in the conversation. I would not be surprised if Chelsea get relegated this year. They are that bad. So when we talk about the last 5 games, we're talking about serious issues. And the issues that I believe we have the problems with is our squad depth. You know, let's be real. Our squad depth is absolutely 100% going to be tested. And I mean 100%. Let's just do some scenarios. No Rice. You've got Jorginho, El Neni, or a constantly injured Thomas Partey. Okay? No Rice, no control. No control, no room to create chances. No room to create chances. Boring defensive games where we sneak a win based on our character, on our mentality. But we don't own the midfield anymore if Rice is not playing. No Vieira. Okay. You've got Havertz, you've got ESR who can look after that. No Saka. Wow. I've said this for a few years now. We have needed to get an upgrade on Reece Nelson for so long. We need someone who is, well, I mean, it's hard to say as good as Saka because let's be real, there's not many people in world football that are in his position. In the Premier League, I would say there's one player that I would honestly, hand on heart, over many years of watching him, would say that he would come close. And I'm talking about Saka, come close to him, and that's Mo Salah from Liverpool. So that's a big problem for me. It really is a big problem for me. Now, we know that Martinelli has got a little bit of a hamstring issue. We don't know the full extent. We don't know if it's a pull. We don't know if it's a strain. We don't know if it's a tear. Now, the mystery for me is Trossard. I still don't understand why he didn't play. He clearly has something going on. I'm hoping it's short term, because Trossard is a very integral part of our squad if Rice is missing. This is where Arteta is about to earn his wings. This is about where Arteta is about to really show us Arsenal fans the caliber of manager he is. When his back is to the wall, let's see what he comes up with. If he has those key players that are not available, so we're talking Rice, Vieira, Saka, Martinelli, Trossard, if those players are dead set, not available, and they have injury clouds hanging over them, and there's no Thomas Partey, because he's got an injury cloud hanging over him, so we're relying on Jorginho's errors. In fairness, I think El Neni has actually played very solid for us every time he's been asked to play. So I'd actually have El Neni over Jorginho, I'll be brutally honest. But if those players are not available, well, now it's time to enter the Arsenal Wonderkids. Because the reality is we're going to need them. I'd never thought I'd say that, but we will need them this year. If we have those players injured in those key positions, we're going to need and rely on our academy prospects. It's that simple. And I'll introduce you to the three players that I think would be the most realistic to assist us with that process. Now, there's a couple of black horses, I'll say, a couple of guys that I think are on the fringes, and then there's one guy I think will get the nod. So the first one is Amario Oswell Gerardo Coza-Dubry. He is an Englishman. He can play on the wing, but he's most renowned as an attacking midfielder. Now, again, Jesus was on the wing. For Trossard, no Martinelli, right? I would have him as a 9 where he is in his best position. So if that was the case, I'd have Coza-Dubry out wide. Because you're going to need someone on the middle, or you put ESR there, or you put Gabby there in an unusual position. He needs to be our main striker. Another possible scenario is Miles Anthony Lewis-Skelly. Now, he's an out-and-out central midfielder. He is a dead-set box-to-box player. Now, again, he's very young and very raw, but he has extremely high levels skill-wise, and his talent and character you can't question. But I honestly think the one that Mikel Arteta will go to if we need depth in that midfield area will be the dynamic, the silky skilled Ethan Nwaneri. Now, I can't really say the names properly. I don't profess to know how to pronounce all these names. So there's going to be a lot of names I stuff up. It's just the way it is. It's also part of my head injury as a returned veteran. I mess up names all the time. So deal with it. Okay. He has got dynamic silky skills, as I said. He's got excellent ability, close control, and he's fast. And he has played for Arsenal. He is the youngest ever Premier League player in the Premier League as well as Arsenal. I think it was the Liverpool player, the young Liverpool player, Harvey Elliott, was the one until Ethan took his spot as far as being the youngest in the Premier League. So I think we have got a lot of questions rather than answers. Yes, we had a very well-contested North London derby. Was it the result we wanted, Arsenal fans? Hell no. No. I wanted to batter that mob. But the reality is they played good football. And we did not. And that's the reality. Would I think the circumstances be different if Jorginho hadn't gifted that goal? I think so. I really do, because I do think that Jorginho has the ability to be the general in the midfield, but he needs a little bit of time. He only just come on and he was not warmed up at all. He made a very poor error in a decision, and that error would not have taken place if that was Declan Rice. Let's be real and let's be honest. If Declan Rice was in the same position, there's no way that Maddison would have taken the ball off him. That ball would have been gone into our centre of our midfield. No issues, no dramas, no hassle. And I think we win the game 2-1. I think Raya was our absolute man of the match. That goes without any doubt in my mind. David Raya was exceptional. His crazy high reaction save was freakish. You know, we talk about Air Ramsdale. Man, that kid's got some skills. Don't get me wrong. He's England number one. He deserves to be England number one. He has got some scary skills. But wow, you just saw the quality that we have now got within our squad, within our goalkeepers. No love lost, no favourites. This is about Arsenal getting better, getting faster, getting stronger, and not challenging Man City for titles, but beating them. And the only way you do that is by better players in better positions. Position by position, we need to have depth. We're starting to get that depth. And I respect what Arteta's done. I respect what the club's done by backing him. We need a lot more. I've said it a long time ago. For us to genuinely win trophies, we have to have an upgrade on our position that's going to support Saka. We need to have a killer in front of goal, and we have to have a serious upgrade on our midfield. I'm talking about Thomas Partey, Jorginho, and El Neni. El Neni's a great team, man, but let's be real, we don't win titles with El Neni. We win titles with high-caliber young players who are hungry for trophies. And that's not going to happen at Arsenal while we have the midfield of broken down Thomas Partey, an older statesman in Jorginho, and a smiling Egyptian in El Neni. Smiling is one thing, playing football is another. And I like winning trophies. Now, if you like what we've had to chat about today, and hey, it might be controversial, you might disagree with a lot of what I'm saying. Much respect, man. Much respect. That's what it's all about. It's about sharing your opinions. So if you like the opinions or you like the feedback or you like the bit of a spin that we've got on it, hey, I just talk real facts, man. I just talk real facts. I love my club. I love my club so dearly. And last night hurt. Last night felt like a loss, and I'm hurting. I am hurting. I have Rice on the back of the shirt, and my concern is I don't think Rice is going to be with us for the next 5 to 10 games. And if that is the case, we are in a world of trouble. We are in a world of trouble. And any Arsenal fans that think we're not, when we don't have Declan Rice as our general in the midfield, you're going to get a serious wake-up call. Ange Ball is here to stay. Tottenham are only going to get better under Ange. He is a fantastic manager. We played poorly last night, to be brutally honest. We were outplayed in the midfield. Saka got pocketed for most of the game. And to be honest, Martin Odegaard was a ghost. And I love Martin Odegaard. I think he's an amazing player. He's young. He's vibrant. He is by far the most in-form number 10 in the competition. Currently, last night, he was a ghost. He was nowhere to be seen. Jesus was ineffective down the wing because he is a number 9. That's where he is effective. And he proved how ineffective he is coming from the wing with that missed error when Maddison basically gifted him an opportunity and he shot high. So on that note, I want you to smash the likes, leave us as many comments or questions as you want. I will endeavour to answer all of those questions. We'll endeavour to bring you better and better content as the days, weeks and months roll by. If you like the content, go ahead and subscribe. And I'd really love you to watch some videos and get a feel for if you like what I produce. And if it's something that you like, then yeah, become a subscriber. You know, this is just a mental health journey for me. I'm a retired veteran, a handicapped vet, and I've always followed my club. And this is the time for me to talk about the love of my life, which is the Arsenal. So on that note, my name is Mitch. I am Grandad Gunner. You've been watching Grandad Gunner TV, and I'm out.